Hey everybody, I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm Layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show from the Silken Hotel in Bilbao, Spain.
Yes, no Aqua Podcast Studio for the
third day in a row. Maybe
that should change tomorrow because we're staying by a river.
We'll see what happens if we can get our feet in it. It's only an Aqua Podcast Studio if we can get our feet
Correct.
in it. Right. So Debbie and Yulia just went by on the way to the room. We are here in the hotel area, in the green area next to the bar. And so, Lisa, what is the first lesson that you want to share with everyone?
So today, Debbie is walking the hills in intervals.
Yes.
And so it made us think of our spiritual interval training. Mm-hmm. Because physically, when we do interval training, it is an excellent way to improve and grow in our cardiovascular health. And interval training could also be a way to grow in our spiritual journey.
I agree. I agree. Well, I think often we can go with, here, let me scoot over a little bit so that I feel like people don't feel like,
on the screen.
Like Judy Triska is always telling us that we're you're too far apart, you're too far apart. The other way to make us look closer together
there you go.
is to go like that. And
yes.
then we
look, I look like I'm far away.
But if I go like that, then you're not. Look at that.
True.
Wow. So often though we can go, like if we don't go to the gym, right, we lose
all our growth, all our gains.
Right, we lose muscle.
Yeah.
Our muscles can actually atrophy. That's not happening right now. Some other things are happening on the Camino, but that's not one of them. Okay, maybe some age is showing, but if we work out spiritually, and we are sure, my arm is getting tired.
Oh, you want me to?
And I got it. And we are sure, because you put your hand over there, that's where the lens is at. Yeah. So if we don't work out, spiritually, we can also, our soul needs to be exercised as well.
Yes.
And it would be very easy for us to become in a place where we are despondent, or spiritually lazy, or even indifferent. I read a comment that somebody made about stopping at a church on TripAdvisor, and they said that they're allergic to churches. And I thought that was really sad.
Yeah.
A sad statement.
Yeah.
That you would say that you are allergic to churches.
Yeah.
And it's just like anything else in life. Anything worth having requires a level of effort and a level of work. And so interval training is an excellent way to be able to do that. We have a lot of people walking by us. That's why we're getting closer.
Well, and I think sometimes we maybe take on too much.
Right.
And so we're kind of like speeding at speeds that will burn us out.
Right, and you have to have training with purpose.
Yes.
So if you don't have a plan together, like we were talking about that,
kinesiology tape.
Right, if you don't put the tape on right, it can actually hurt you.
Yes.
Right, if you don't work out right, it can actually hurt you.
Yes.
And so I think spiritually interval training to be making sure that we're going to Mass every week, that we are maybe going to a daily Mass, that we're frequenting reconciliation on a consistent basis, and when we definitely know that we need it, right?
Yep.
All of these things help us to grow, but they have to be done with the intentionality and the purpose of growing in deeper relationship with God, and not just something that we're doing.
Yes.
Right. We recognize that there's something greater that is gained from doing all of these things, and it's not just, I want to make sure I get to heaven. How we get to heaven is by having a deeper relationship with Jesus. And through this interval training, where we're consistently engaging ourselves in opportunities to grow in intimacy, Lisa, then we can achieve that.
Well, the other day we were walking.
Why do you always throw your head back when I do that?
I don't know, because I don't expect the camera to be right there. The other day when we were walking, that's too close. You can see all my pores, my blackheads.
Can you see my beard, people?
Oh yeah, look at that beard coming on in.
Yeah.
But the other day we were walking, and it was a day that was very hilly and challenging and hot. And we saw these airplanes making a cross, like sky.
Yeah, like a cross, yeah.
And so their exhaust or smoke or whatever was making a cross. And so we were like, we're to keep our eyes focused on Jesus. And that's just a reminder during this hard hill to keep our eyes focused on Him. And that is something that we are called to do in our interval training.
Sometimes when clearly they don't know we're doing a podcast right now, but that's
okay. This is a place that they host press conferences. Maybe we should use that here.
Is this like a busy hotel or something?
Very.
No. So what was the other thing?
The other thing was we found this Deacon Davey found this perpetual adoration chapel,
Yeah.
3 minutes from our hotel. So we're in this big city. It's loud. It's crowded. Lots of cars. Lots of people.
But cool, but nice.
Oh no, it's very nice.
They're
Yes,
very
yes,
cool.
yes. But my point is, like, we're in this busy area, and when we came up on the adoration chapel, it did not look like a church, but we saw this big cross at the front of the building. We were coming by the side, and then the window bars had crosses, and then we saw like the perpetual adoration sign, and the door was open, and so you could just walk right in, and Jesus is there in the monstrance, but you can still hear in the background the city sounds. But it was, you had said, and I agree, it was quiet in there, despite the city sounds. And I think sometimes not sometimes. I think often the devil uses distractions such as those. I don't know where I'm supposed
This
to
is
look.
like a cool side view, and they can see me straight on.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah,
so I don't know where I'm
very
supposed to
big
look. Am I supposed to look at the
profile.
camera?
No, you
Okay.
just keep talking straight.
Okay. So
Just let me do my work here,
oftentimes,
okay?
yes. Oftentimes the devil uses these things to distract us, like, oh, these noises, or these, like, for instance, one day at the retreat center we were having mass, and the light that was shining on the crucifix was flashing, and so, you know, at that point, that was during the liturgy of the word, and then as soon as the liturgy of the Eucharist started, the flashing stopped, and I was like thinking to myself, and I even told the priest who was celebrating mass, like, oh, you know, the devil was trying to distract us from hearing the word of God, because he wanted us to be distracted by this blinking light. And that's how the devil operates. He wants us to be distracted by maybe something that we feel like we could have done better, like focusing on that instead of like how far we've come. Or yes,
No, go ahead. You're right.
Like you were going to say something.
Go ahead.
Oh, or, you know, like sounds or things that the devil tries to annoy us with. He tries to keep our focus off of Jesus.
Exactly, Lisa. So we were there for what, like maybe 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes, and just so everyone knows, we prayed for all of those who asked for us to pray for them in front of Jesus in the adoration chapel.
It's a very pretty monstrance.
Yes, it was very pretty, absolutely.
Yeah, and there was probably, I don't know, maybe half a dozen people in there with
a
us.
nice amount, yep.
Yeah, so it was really cool to just walk out of busyness into silence and Jesus.
A place of refuge, yeah. And
Right.
you had
Yeah, so part of my time I was really settling in, and I was getting sleepy, but I was very much present to God. So I was very focused and not worried about any extemporaneous noise. I was just really focused on Jesus. Oh, she's moving my hand around now. And one of the things that Jesus said, as we talked about the other day, is often we put things in our heart. It doesn't bother me. It just makes me laugh because you're grabbing my arm. Here, let's just be me. Because like we said, we have barbed wire around our hearts, right?
Yes.
And so what the Lord asked me is, why are you protecting your heart? And so I'll ask you, and I'll ask Lisa, if there is a reason that you have walls around your heart, or barbed wire, or whatever you want to say, like we said, why is that? Are you trying to protect something? Are you trying to hide something? What is the purpose for why you are doing that? And I think the best place to get that answer
in adoration.
Is in adoration, to sit in front of Jesus, because he's standing on the other side of the wall or the barbed wire fence or whatever it may be. And when we ask him, he will hear us, and then he can answer us. Because even that answer, we may think we know what it is, but there's usually like something deeper to that, okay? And it could be a lack of trust, or a lack of understanding, or whatever the case may be. But that's just a question for you, okay? If you have some walls up, why? Okay? And don't answer the question yourself, but go to the Blessed Sacrament Chapel, spend time with Jesus, and ask him. And then allow him to be the one that breaks that wall, those barriers down. Anything else, Lisa?
Well, today was a moderate rain. The path was moderate, but the weather was rainy and cold and windy.
Yes.
So that was the biggest challenge, was just to
persevere
through the elements.
And we were rewarded.
And, we
the
had
menu del dia.
delicious menu del dia.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Some good Iberian pork.
Yes.
Some potatoes.
Yes.
Some
Paella. You had the tortellini.
And
Debbie had an ensalada.
we had some wine.
Some white
Lisa
wine.
had wine, white wine, a Chardonnay.
It's included in the jet.
I know, but she actually drank some of it, which was totally shocking. But I'm sorry, were you going to make a point about perseverance in the wet and the windy?
Well, and I think that's also a way the devil tries to distract us as well. Like, focus on the negative things and focus on what's wrong with what's going on in our surroundings or our environment instead of focusing on all the blessings and all the goodness that God bestows upon us.
Yeah, there was certainly opportunity to get distracted by the negatives, but we persevered, we were patient, we helped each other, and we got to where we needed to get, and then we were so excited to get here early so that we could actually have lunch at 2 o'clock. That's not bad for around here.
Yeah.
1:30, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was super.
It was delicious.
I am Deacon Dave.
I am layperson Lisa.
We will see you next time. We also had gelato.
Oh,
Bye.
yes.
Yeah.